Guad, what are you seeing where you are there?
Ana, this is the border between San Diego and Tijuana. There's two barriers in this area that separate Tijuana and San Diego. And we've seen for the first time migrants that are camping out in between these two barriers. So most of the time when migrants try to enter the United States illegally, they would try to cross both of these barriers. But now these are individuals that are seeking asylum. They've crossed that first barrier and they've been camping out for days, waiting for Border Patrol officials to come apprehend them so that they can request asylum. Now, Border Patrol officers have been arriving throughout the day. We were here all of yesterday. They do what they can. They've told us that their facilities are at capacity, both Border Patrol stations and the processing centers. And that's why these migrants have to remain here waiting for the Border Patrol agents to finally come in. And they do come throughout the day. They have vans. They load up the women and children, some of the families, but some of these men say they've been here for days. And you can actually hear some of them that will yell, asking us to help them charge their phones. Some of them need water. Some of them want food. And throughout the day, we also have some organizations that bring some of that water, some of the food. Border Patrol has also provided food and water during the time we've been here, but they have been overwhelmed. And right now, you see about 200 to 300. They keep coming throughout the day as Border Patrol will take some of them to get processed. And this is just one of the camps. There's another camp less than a mile away in that direction. And of course, we've seen this surge all across the Mexico-U.S. border. We're going to play part of a conversation that I had with a group of migrants here from Jamaica. This is what they told me yesterday. Is there a reason why you left Jamaica to come here?
We tried the crime and things, so we try to get a better opportunity so we can help our family together.
Now, if they were to expel you back into Mexico, what would you do?
Oh, it would be hard. It would be hard. It would be tough for me.
Why?
Oh, boy, that is not an opportunity for me, you know?
And that's just one of the groups. We've seen people from Europe here, a lot of people from South America, even people from Africa. Meanwhile, this morning in Texas, Governor Abbott announced the creation of a new National Guard unit, the Texas Tactical Border Force, and they will dedicate these men in the National Guard to patrol the border there in Texas, where they've seen a surge of thousands in the Rio Grande Valley in the Brownsville area. In fact, they were saying last week more than 2,000 migrants were arriving in that area. So again, a surge that we're seeing from the west all the way to the east here at the U.S.-Mexico border, Ana.
All right, Guad Venegas reporting there in San Diego, California. Thank you. Let's head to Texas and to another border town. Mayor of El Paso, Texas, Oscar Leeser, is joining us now. Thank you, Mayor, for taking the time. Last week, you declared a state of emergency as your city saw hundreds of migrants arriving daily, and more are still arriving. Have you had a chance to speak with any of these migrants newly arrived in your city about why they're there and what they need?
Yeah, and that's one of the things we've been going out talking to them. We've actually gone into Mexico and kind of looked at and assessed the situation because Title 42 will be lifted on Thursday, and we want to look and see how many are in Juarez, how many are planning to come over. And we have noticed there's about 10 to 12,000 people, and they're not in the shelters. Right now, the second largest shelter there's only 20. But when we talk to them, they're telling us that once they come in and once it's lifted, they'll have political asylum into the United States, which is not really what's going on right now. Once Title 42 is lifted, you're still going to have Title 8, which Title 8 was back since 1940.
And so explain to our viewers what Title 8 is then. If these people who are coming in, yes, they are given the right to apply for asylum, right, as long as they enter in the proper channels, but you're saying it's not an automatic entry, right?
That's correct. It's not automatic entry. They still have to go through the immigration process. And it's one of the things we're working with them and trying to get that done. But you're right. As we looked around, it's really important that we follow all the laws of the United States and immigration laws. And one of the things we're very proud of El Paso is that we treat people the way we want to be treated. But it's our responsibility to make sure we treat our asylum seekers and also protect the community of El Paso, as we have a huge influx, and every day we continue to grow.
And Mayor, we're seeing the images. You mentioned a lot of people aren't in shelters. My understanding is that's largely because there isn't enough room in the shelter. So a lot of people are camping out on the streets. How's your city preparing for even bigger crowds of migrants expected later this week?
Well, we're opening up, and this should open up today or tomorrow. We have 2 schools that have been empty for years now, and we were able to get those schools, and we're going to open them up today or tomorrow and be able to offer sheltering for people that have gone through the immigration process. And then we're also looking and prepared to use some of the hotels and also use the convention center here locally in El Paso. And the Red Cross did come in last week, and we're going to continue to work with the Red Cross to provide the service of meals and clothing and staffing, because that's one of the biggest things that we are looking for, to continue to have staffing for these shelters. We're looking at NGOs outside our community that come in and help us staff those shelters.
I do want to ask you about that horrific incident yesterday in Brownsville, which is a ways away, I know, from El Paso, where the driver crashed his car into a crowd outside a migrant center. We still don't know if that was intentional or accidental, but are you concerned at all about security around migrant centers in your city?
And that's what the El Paso Police Department is not here to enforce immigration laws, but it is here to protect our asylum seekers and also the citizens of El Paso. So what we did in that big area where you were showing just now, we actually blocked that street to make sure there is no incident. We actually blocked it prior to that incident in Brownsville to make sure it happened. And one of the things we always want to make sure we're proactive, not reactive, and that's we are continuing to do things to make sure. So when we did a state of emergency, as you talked about, it was to be prepared for May 12th. And we always talk about that we need to prepare for the unknown. And I really believe the city of El Paso will continue to be prepared and treat people the way we all want to be treated.
El Paso Mayor Oscar Leeser, thank you so much for taking the time with us today. Good luck, as I know you face this challenge.
Yeah, thank you. And we are looking at the future, and the future is, we all know that the federal immigration policy is broken, and we need to work on the federal immigration policy, because El Paso, Brownsville, there's no city along Texas or in the U.S. that continue to go and continue to do this day in and day out. There is no end game, and we have to come up with something, because we cannot continue to do this. We'll continue to provide a service, and we thank the federal government for helping us fund it. But at the end of the day, all the money in the world will not continue if there is no end game for this.
Which means Republicans and Democrats need to work together instead of pointing fingers. Thank you again, Mayor Leeser, for your time.
That's exactly what I meant, and thank you for saying that. Thank you.
All right.